your life. I met Trinette in ninth grade playing basketball. We met Cheryl in ninth grade playing basketball. She ran over our point guard at South High. But we became friends. I'm not going to make it long because I have so many stories. But one of my biggest stories I'll never forget. Trinette, March 13th. I'll see you later. Okay, hang up the phone. State of emergency. No vehicles on the road. Keisha walked from Temple Hill to Chadwick Gardens. Knocked on the door. All I heard was, I know that's not Keisha. Open the door, Keisha's soaking wet, top to bottom. And all I said was, I wasn't missing your 21st birthday. I'll never miss a birthday, and I have not. So thank you for bringing her to us. And she's still here. She will never leave me all the time. Will you marry me now, Tara?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna try my best not to cry up here now. Trinette have a special place in my heart. I met Trinette when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. I used to always go to my grandmother's house, and then we moved next to the Joneses, and I used to always see Trinette in the back porch by herself. And I was like a little clown back then, and I used to always wait till she come by in the back porch, and I just run in the back porch, acting like I'm doing something. It's just to aggravate her. And Trinette would be humble, just sit there, look at me with that look, and I'm over there singing, dancing, anything I can do to get her attention. Telling corny jokes that she laughing at. I even know the jokes was corny and she still laughed at. And Trinette was, I could clearly say, my first best friend. See, when you're young, you don't really know what you're going through. You don't really know. You don't really know what you're living because you're young and you're dependent on other people to take care of you. But every time I see Trinette, my world was bright. Every time I talk to Trinette, my world was bright. And it depends what phase of my life that we could talk about Trinette. Because she was my best friend. She was my psychiatrist. She was more than that. She was a supporter from Pop Warner football to the Glen Isles Community Center, playing basketball, to playing basketball at Delhi University, when she was at the University of Albany. And I remember I got on her nerves one day real bad, and then the next day I woke up and she wasn't on the back porch. So I said, okay, maybe she got something to do. Came back the next day, she wasn't on the back porch. I said, she can't play me like that. So I went over the next door and knocked on the door. And she comes to the door looking at me because she's a little taller than me. I said, you ain't been on the back porch for 2 days. And she said, I know. I said, why you ain't been on the back porch for 2 days? I said, because you're getting on my nerves. So I'm just looking at her. I said, are you going to let me in? So she said, come in, we sit down. And that's the first time I ever went into the Jones house. And from that day on, I always goes into Jones house. It wasn't until I got older I realized every time me and Trinette talked, I was the only one talking. She would sit there humbly and just listen and listen and listen. I'm dancing, I'm cracking jokes, I'm trying to rap, I'm doing all this. And she would just sit there and listen. And then it took me until I was grown and realized, Trinette just always listened to me. She knew my darkest secrets that I wouldn't even tell my moms. She knew things about me that no one would never know, I would never tell nobody. And that's because she was humbly sit there and just listen. Never judge, always support. And I see people in here that watch me grow up, that helped me grow up, for teaching me basketball, for going to teaching me about God, going to NFA, watching track teams win multiple championships. I am from Newburgh. I am a child from Newburgh. I've been through the struggles of Newburgh. And there's always people in Newburgh that always lift you up, like Miss Ida Jones, Charlie Jones. They welcomed me into their house. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a knucklehead. Everybody said I wasn't bad, but I was a knucklehead. And Lord, did I drive Miss Jones crazy. So that household is a tree that bears fruit, a fruit of support, a fruit of humbleness. And Trinette and Tara are two fruits from that tree that I had the privilege to grow up with that love me unconditionally. They always opened their heart to me and my brothers, fed us when we didn't have no food on the table, talked to me when I couldn't get talked to at home. I love y'all, man. I love you with all my heart. And I love Trinette with all my heart. You see, I know I got a little bit of time. I got a lot of stories, but some stories you can hear, some stories ain't meant for you to hear. But when it comes to Trinette, like I said, she supported me from Pop Warner football all the way to playing basketball at Del High. She used to bring her friends from Albany, and we're going to go see LT play basketball. So even when my own family wasn't there for me, the Joneses was there for me. And when I was being a knucklehead, Ida would come running around the corner to North Miller Street to let me know I was being a knucklehead. When I wanted to go to college, she took my hand, she brought me to Del High, showed me how to fill the papers out. She made sure I went to college. I love you, Ida. I love you, Dad. I love you, Tara. I love you, Latour. I love Trinette. Trinette was more than just a friend, a psychiatrist. She was more than that to me. So when my brother Keji called me and told me Trinette was no longer here, I was shocked. I was mad. I was frustrated because I knew she was going through things, but I didn't know she would leave us this soon. I was mad asking God questions, but I know it's not my plan, it's God's plan. And unfortunately, we're here today because of this, but this is the day that God made. Like I said, I wasn't a bad kid, I was a knucklehead, but one thing about it, I was raised in the church. And I grew up by all the people from Newburgh that helped me grow up. I could name many of people that's here, that's not here, that poured into the kids of Newburgh, and it still is pouring to the kids of Newburgh. And Trinette is definitely one of them. The Jones family is definitely, I remember one short story. I crashed my car in college. I ain't have no money. Trying to figure this out. There's only one person I can call, that's Miss Jones. She's like, oh, don't worry about it, baby. Let me talk to Charlie. Let me talk to Charlie. Charlie? Charlie get on the phone. Son, don't worry about it. We'll be able to do it next week to get the car. You'll have it back in a month. They came up there, got my car, brung it down on Chambers Street, fixed my car, and got back on the phone saying, now your car's ready, come back and get it now. Didn't ask me for a dime. Let me know I'm one of their children. And I love y'all. I love you unconditionally, just like you love me unconditionally. And I know I haven't been around like I'm supposed to, get my life right. But like we said, Tar, intentionally we'll be making sure we get together more often. And yes, Mom, I'm going back to your house to eat your candy like I always do. I won't be able to see Trinette in the physical no more, but she always living because she played a very important part in my life of me changing my life around. When I was in my darkest in prison, that thought came to my head, the words. I know Trinette thought I wouldn't listen to her many times. When she did say something, she said something meaningfully. And the words stuck to me. And when I got out, I had a chance to speak to Trinette. And the only thing I wanted to tell Trinette was how much I appreciated her, how much I loved her, and I wanted her to know all the stages in my life, what she meant to me. And God gave me a chance to tell her that. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. Jones family, I love you. Newbird, I love you. Trinette, I will always love you. You will always be in my heart. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Don't believe a word that man said about that. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the people that played for me. Toya, would you please stand? Shatoya, Keisha, Cheryl, John Borden. Now, and Trinette. Now, Leon, sorry, Leon. But he's not going to stand up. But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for making my career as successful as it was. And I'll tell you now, you'll always be in my heart. Because if it hadn't been for Newbird, I wouldn't have been in 3 Hall of Fames. But getting as I told John Borden, well, first of all, let me tell you a funny story about John Borden. I learned my basketball coaching from these kids. And I told them when we started, we're going to learn together. And that's what we did. John Borden came out for my team in the 3rd grade. I am the only coach to ever cut him. Only because he did a violation and I didn't like it because he rolled the ball in bounds. I said, Johnny, it's time for you to go home and come back next year when you get your act together. So he came back the next year, and we never had a problem. But these kids, let me tell you, from the 3rd year we started the league, they never lost a game for 9 years. 9 years. Undefeated. Now, Keisha and Trinette, Keisha and Trinette, and Keisha just reminded me, we went over to play Our Lady of Lords. Of course, you know, they have 10 state championships. So they were all in a JV team. And Keisha says, well, Coach, it's going to be a tough game. I said, yes, it is. And then after the game was over, the coach came up to me and asked me, what was that play we ran? And I said, it's not in a book. I made it up. So anyway, getting back to Trinette, We played Valley Central, and they had Sue Mayo, who was 6'5", and Trinette said, what do I have to do? I said, what I want you to do is one thing. Don't worry about scoring. Box her out. We played 3 overtimes. We lost the game, but we played them 3. They knew we were there, and, and we did the 3 overtimes. But anyway, Trinette was a great kid. I had no problems out of her. As a matter of fact, in my whole coaching career in Newburgh, she was the only left-hander I ever had. and I was always looking for one because I knew that would be a problem for the defense because very seldom you see a left-handed player. So anyway, I told Ida when I got the call, I'll be there. And I want all you kids to know, if I'm around, I'll be there. I'll be there. So God bless. God bless.
Come on, can you give all of them a, come on, give them all a great big hand clap. Come on, come on, come on. Amen. Hall of Fame. Amen. He told me to get my hat, get my coat, get my suitcase, and get out. I cried all the way home. But it taught me, if you're going to be a part of anything, you got to follow instruction. Amen, somebody. I was the product of South Street. We ain't listening to nobody. My daddy run the juke joint. We knocked folk out. But he wasn't scared of nobody. We got children coming from the projects. We gangsters. South Street in the projects, we run stuff. And here this joker come from an HBCU, ain't scared of none of us. I cried all the way home. I said, man, when I get another chance. Amen, somebody. Can we give coach, the ball players, the teammates, can we give them all another great big hand clap? Her sister is coming now with the reading of the obituary. Will y'all please say amen for Sister Shatoya, accompanied by Tara. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, let them feel it, let them feel it. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Before I start reading, I was not going to be okay to do reflections. I needed something scripted, that all I had to do was look down and say the words, because I don't have all the words right now. But I do have to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, everybody, for showing up for my big sister. Thank you to every face in the crowd. Thank you to all of my parents. I love you. All of my friends, people that I didn't even know were going to show up. My boss's boss showed up, and my friends from work, and I got a ministerial team from my church, and my babies are here. I thank you. My heart is so overwhelmed right now, but I thank you all. Oh, Lord, I thank you. Trinette Yvonne Jones peacefully entered eternal rest on February 4th, 2026, after a life filled with love, faith, and meaningful connections. Trinette was a proud graduate of Newburgh Free Academy and the State University of New York at Albany. She had a genuine love for animals, especially cats, and found joy in the outdoors. She began her professional career as a veterinary technician, a role that reflected her deep compassion for animals, and later served her community as a caseworker with the Orange County Department of Social Services. A lifelong sports enthusiast, Trinette proudly calls herself a Newburgh Goldback for life and faithfully supported Newburgh Goldback basketball, football, and track programs for more than 30 years. She was also a devoted fan of the Dallas Cowboys, New York Knicks, New York Liberty, and Manchester United. Whether attending games in person or watching from home, sharing these moments with family brought her great happiness. Trinette especially treasured summer vacations spent with her sisters and nephews, creating lasting memories filled with laughter and love. Trinette leaves to cherish her memory her devoted parents, Charlie Jones Jr. and Ida P. Jones, her loving sisters, Tara Y. Jones and Shatoya S. Jones, and her beloved nephews, Tristan Jones and Joel Brown. She is also lovingly remembered by her aunts and uncles, Ruth Perkins, Maxine Ross and family, Patsy Donaldson and family, and Clarence Riley, cousins Darrell and Donna Riley and family, Kevin Moore and family, Tierra and Joshua McNeil and family, Danae Riley and family, Kedrick Mays, Reggie Powell Jr., and lifelong friends Cheryl Hegler and Keisha Morgan. Trinette's memory will also be cherished by a host of loving relatives and friends throughout New York, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida. Her gentle spirit, unwavering love for family, and passion for life will forever remain in the hearts of all who knew and loved her.
Amen. At this time, the recording artists, the Burke sisters, say amen for them as they come.
Oh Lord, I'm trying to make it through this barren land. But as I go from day to day, I can hear my Savior say, trust me, child, come on and hold my hand. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain, and I must hold to God, His powerful hand. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain, and I'm doing my best to make it in. Come on, y'all know it. Help me sing. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. I must hold to God, His powerful hand. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in. One more time. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. I must hold to God, His powerful hand. I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best to make it in, because times is filled with swift transition. Oh, none on earth can move and stand. You must build your hopes on things
Amen. That's District Missionary Asia Burks with her beautiful sisters, Yolanda and Keisha Burks. That's Betty daughters. That's Pastor Stacy Burke daughters. Now listen, I preach all over this country. Preaching is what I do. Mr. Rumel said that those who had played for him, he asked us to stand. And I talked to one of his favorite all-time players, Kevin Butch Moore. If he was here, he would have had to stand. And he said, I'll be watching. So you better stand up when coach tell you to stand up. I don't care if you just watching, Butch, stand up. Amen, somebody. Just cause he ain't here don't mean he get away. Amen. They taught us something. And I'm just so godly proud of the product that Charlie and Ida P has produced. I think that Charlie and Ida P ought to get a great big hand clap. For a job well done. So often in the city of Newburgh, we have parents who raise some hell raisers. They told me they didn't want to hear me preach because I tell the truth. That's right. Because number one, I stay out of debt. I don't owe nobody. Amen, somebody. They can't tell me how to preach because I don't owe you no money. Got my own money. Amen, somebody. And if I couldn't preach, I have my own church anyhow. Got 9 children, 7 sons and 2 daughters, 9 grandchildren. I can just preach to my own. Got a dog. Amen, somebody. Bible said preach the gospel to every creature. And the dog, he'll just sit there and listen to me because I feed him treats. Say amen, somebody. Some of y'all got preachers that can't preach, and he just giving you treats, and you say, amen. Please. You can't preach no better than you live. Malcolm up here talking about, I'm a teacher. No, you the deacon's son. You a chip off the old block from Carter Street who had the store down on South Street. You from the hood too. Amen, somebody. See, when you're from here, you know those that are from here. And I didn't get raised in the church, so I don't play church. Amen. I needed God in my life to make a change. Amen. But I want to do this while I'm up here. Well, because I saw my family that I followed all the way to the Bahamas. I followed New Day Tabernacle Church all the way to the Bahamas. And I saw my family. I saw them here. And I saw some of the other ministers here. I saw Pastor Stacy Burks, and there may be some other ministers or pastors that are here. Will y'all please stand? All the ministers. There it is. There it is. Amen.